An obesity treatment getting more popular. We talk about it all the time. A new op-ed in the New York Times tackles the legacy of judgment and morality in weight loss. The piece is titled "A Year on Ozempic Taught Me We're Thinking About Obesity All Wrong." And its author joins us now, journalist Johann Hari. He's got a new book out. It's called Magic Pill: The Extraordinary Benefits and Disturbing Risks of the New Weight Loss Drugs. So here we have you here to tell us. We all debate it. We're not on it, so we don't know.
No.
Tell us about this experience. What is your relationship with food like, and what is the biggest lesson of all this for you?
It's the strangest thing when you start taking these drugs. Obviously, I spent a year doing a really deep dive into the science all over the world, interviewing the leading experts on this to see how it's going to affect us and our economy and our society. But when you actually take it, I thought it'd be silly to write the book and not take it, and I was very overweight at the time. It's the weirdest feeling. I'll never forget, the second day I took it, I woke up, and I was lying in bed, and I thought, I feel something really strange. What am I feeling? I couldn't locate in my body what it was. And then I realized I had woken up and I wasn't hungry. That had never happened to me before, right? And I went to a diner just up the street from where I live, and I ordered what I used to order every morning, which was a huge brown chicken roll with loads of mayo in it and loads of chicken. And I had like 3 mouthfuls and I couldn't eat anymore. So what these drugs do, there are extraordinary benefits and disturbing risks to these drugs, but what they do is they give you a feeling of satiety that has been stolen from us by the kind of food I've been eating all my life, junk food.
Can I ask you a question, though, about this?
Sure.
Your relationship with food, do you still enjoy the food? Do you feel that it's changed your level of happiness around food?
So
in a good way, in a bad way? Because that's something we've all talked about, just
I love
living life.
I don't want to go to a diner.
Right.
No, you're right. I go through really big drawbacks to these drugs in the book. There are 12 big risks associated with them, some of which I'm very worried about, along with these incredible benefits. Lots of people just lose their pleasure in food. I actually had the opposite experience. I realized how much I ate to calm myself down and stuff myself, right? From when I was a small child, that a lot of people have that relationship with food. And you literally can't do that when you take these drugs, right? If you tried to kind of go to KFC and pig out, you would throw up. Right. So actually for me, because it slowed down my eating, I actually take more pleasure in food now, but I'm unusual. Most people are more like, your concern is absolutely legitimate.
I've wondered if it would ruin what you feel, the pleasure you take in other things too. And the only thing I can liken it to, and I don't know if this is true, like probably once every year, every 2 years, I'll get pretty sick and I won't eat anything for 5 to 7 days because I just can't. You lose weight. I don't want to eat anything. When I feel better, I go back to eating and I go back to my normal size. Is it like that? Does it take the joy out of other things, or you haven't noticed any?
So a significant minority of people who take these drugs seem to be becoming depressed. There's even some concern about possible suicidal ideation. It's a huge debate about why that might be. We know these drugs primarily work on your brain, not on your gut. There's been a shift in the science. Interview the leading neuroscientists about this. So there's a concern that it may be dampening the reward systems in your brain in exactly the way you're worried about, although other scientists strongly contest that. But it's really interesting. When you look at the risks of the drugs like that, you'd think, well, it'd be crazy to take this. But what we have to do is weigh 2 very specific things. You have to weigh the risks of the drugs, which are real and significant. All the concerns you're raising are really important, against the risks of continuing to be obese. Realistically, I would have continued to be obese, right? This is the biggest killer in this country.
Everything bad.
It is
everything bad.
I have to say, I was and I'm embarrassed to say this because it will sound naive. I was stunned when I looked at the evidence of how bad for you obesity is. It causes 200 known diseases and complications. You're much more likely to get cancer, dementia, stroke, I mean, just across the board. So the really extraordinary benefit of this drug, this range of drugs, you lose 15 to 24% of your body weight. If you reverse your obesity, you dramatically improve your health. I'm older now than my grandfather ever got to be because he died of a heart attack when he was 44. This is quite possibly saving my life.
The holy grail, and you're right, microdosing with a pill. That's
and if you look at that, you're totally right.
Is that possible?
So there's a big debate about this, and there are now experiments going on with it. But if you look at Barclays Bank commissioned a very sober-minded financial analyst called Emily Field to look into these drugs, to guide their investment decisions going forward.
Not related to Mrs. Fields. See, I'm always thinking about food. I am. I'm always thinking about food.
But she came back and said, if you want a comparison for the effect this will have on the economy, you've got to look at the invention of the smartphone, right? 47% of Americans want to take this drug. This is the biggest, obesity is the biggest killer in the society. These drugs are going to be enormous.
Tell me, though, what it's done to you in terms of exercise. So the other issue is that people who do take these drugs, in some ways, some people exercise more because they actually now, they're not obese, so it's actually easier to exercise. But a lot of people don't because they say, look, I'm really thin now, I don't need to exercise.
Yeah.
And then there's a big issue about, we were talking about muscles, even muscles in your face. We're talking about Ozempic face. And my understanding is part of that is related that people don't eat enough. Because they're not eating enough to begin with, you almost have to force feed yourself protein to actually keep any muscle strength.
Yeah, it's a really important point. So there's lots of things in what you just said, but if you think about one just in terms of muscle, so one of the big worries about these drugs is as you age, you naturally lose muscle mass, which is the soft tissue in your body you need to move, climb the stairs, get out of a chair or whatever. And actually, depressingly, you start to lose it at the age of 30, which I think is a very depressing thought for me. What these drugs do, like any other form of weight loss, is they really reduce your amount of muscle mass. So the danger is you're going into the aging process, which
with less muscle mass.
And this is particularly an issue. So I would say
you believe it's so there's a debate about this, whether it's the drugs that's reducing the muscle mass itself, or the fact that people who are taking these drugs are no longer moving or exercising the same way, and or this protein issue.
Oh no, we know all forms of weight loss cause a loss. You lose weight, so you lose both fat mass and muscle mass. Almost everyone does. This is particularly risky. That risk of the 12 risks that I talk about in my book, Magic Pill, that one's particularly salient for people who are already thin, who are taking them to be super thin, right? Because they're going to have, and we've got to really distinguish a few different groups. There's people who are overweight and obese who are taking them to come down to a healthy weight. They're still incurring lots of risks about thyroid cancer, risks about pregnancy. Right. But I think there's a really strong case for that when you weigh the balance of risks, particularly if you started as severely obese. For people who are already thin, I would say you're incurring a lot of the risks for only an aesthetic benefit.
Eli Lilly is working on a pill version of this, but it doesn't work on both
the gut hormones.
Both hormones. It only works on one hormone. Right. Do you think that just working on one hormone is going to be enough? Is that going to be the microdosed version? Because, for example, because it's not as extreme, is that going to be? How do you think about that?
So, as one of the leading scientists put it to me, we've cracked the code of what causes weight loss, gut hormones, and there are more than 70 gut hormones that affect weight loss and appetite, right? So now that we know tinkering with that is what changes, what can lead to weight loss, there's going to be an extraordinary range of development of these drugs. Some will be microdosing smaller ones, some will be bigger doses. We're going to discover more. But we've, as one leading scientist put it to me, we've found the holy grail. We've cracked the code,
I know we got to go downside, though. Do you feel like there's a downside to all of this?
Oh, there's a huge downside. I'm really worried about lots of risks. My biggest worry, not for me, but for many people, eating disorders. There are loads of young girls who, and unfortunately it's girls, trying to starve themselves. The worst case scenario is we could have an opioid-like scale of death toll of young girls who are able to amputate their appetite using these drugs in a way they wouldn't be. That's why we urgently need to regulate. You should only be able to get these drugs from an in-person, inpatient appointment with a doctor who is trained in detecting eating disorders. There's incredible benefits to these drugs. They're probably saving my life. There are incredible risks. We really need to take a beat and think deeply about this.
Johann, the book is called Magic Pill. This is an awesome conversation. I hope you come on back and we'll discuss it more. Thank you.